The hospital corridor was a whirlwind of hurried steps and whispered conversations. Keanu Reeves stood outside room 304, his hand gripping a bouquet of lilies. Inside, the faint beeping of machines mingled with the soft hum of the air conditioning. His sister was resting after another grueling treatment. Keanu took a deep breath, trying to steady the storm brewing inside him. But before he could step inside, his phone buzzed, a call that would soon turn his day upside down. A voice on the other end hesitated, then spoke quickly. "Mr. Reeves, we need you to confirm something. A waitress from a small cafe has just been fired, because of you." Keanu froze, confusion flashing across his face. "Because of me?" he repeated. He thought back to the night before, exhausted and weighed down by his sister's worsening condition, stopping at a quiet diner. And then it hit him. The kind waitress who had run after him with his forgotten wallet, her kindness and smile, a fleeting moment of light in his darkest hour. "Find her," he said firmly, "and let me know when you do." Before we dive deeper into this shocking story, comment below where you're watching from today. And if you value stories about resilience and standing up for what's right, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more heartfelt narratives. It was late that evening when Sarah Collins, a 25-year-old waitress, noticed the wallet on the floor beneath the booth. She glanced out the window and saw a man unlocking his car under the soft glow of the streetlight. Without thinking, she grabbed the wallet and dashed outside, calling after him. "Sir, you dropped this!" she yelled, clutching the leather wallet tightly. The man turned and Sarah stopped in her tracks. It was Keanu Reeves. Her breath hitched, but she pushed the thought aside, extending the wallet toward him. "Thank you," he said softly, his voice lined with exhaustion. For a moment their eyes met, and Sarah noticed the heavy sadness that clung to him. "You didn't even look inside, did you?" Keanu asked, a faint smile touching his lips. "Why would I?" she replied, shrugging with a smile of her own. "Good night," Keanu murmured, slipping into his car. Sarah watched him drive away, unaware that this small act of kindness would soon unravel her world. The next morning, Sarah's manager confronted her. "You left during your shift," he snapped. "This isn't a charity, Sarah. You're fired." "No, wait. I don't want excuses," he cut her off, waving her toward the door. Heartbroken, Sarah packed her things. By the time she returned to her small apartment, her mind was racing. She couldn't make rent and her savings were running out. As she sank into her worn-out couch, her phone buzzed, a news notification. The headline read, "Keanu Reeves searches for unknown waitress. She reminded me of humanity's goodness." Sarah's hands trembled as she opened the article. In the video clip, Keanu's voice cracked as he recounted the story. "She didn't know who I was," he said. "She just cared. That simple kindness saved me from falling apart that night." Sarah's heart pounded. He was talking about her. The next day, Sarah stepped out to clear her head. The crisp January air bit at her cheeks as she wandered aimlessly. Turning a corner, she nearly collided with someone. "Excuse me," a gentle voice said. Sarah looked up and froze. It was Keanu Reeves. "It's you," he said, recognition lighting his face. Sarah stammered, "I didn't think you'd remember." "How could I forget?" he said, his tone sincere. "I've been looking for you." Before Sarah could process what was happening, her phone buzzed. A message from her landlord reminding her that rent was overdue. Her shoulders sagged and she forced a smile, trying to mask the panic bubbling inside. "You okay?" Keanu asked, his brows furrowing with concern. "I'm fine," she lied. Keanu didn't believe her. He reached into his pocket and handed her a folded piece of paper. "What's this?" she asked, her voice trembling. "Just open it," he said gently. It was a check, enough to cover her rent for months. "I can't accept this," Sarah protested, her voice breaking. "It's not charity," Keanu said firmly. "It's gratitude. You gave me hope that night. Let me return the favor." Keanu hesitated before speaking again. "There's something I didn't tell you that night," he began, his voice quieter now. "My sister, she's fighting cancer. That's why I was at the diner. I didn't know how to keep going." Sarah's heart ached at the raw vulnerability in his words. "I thought I'd lost everything," Keanu continued, "and then you reminded me that there's still kindness in the world." Tears welled in Sarah's eyes. "I didn't do anything special," she whispered. Keanu shook his head. "You did more than you know." The story didn't end there. A few days later, Keanu invited Sarah to meet his sister, Emily, who had heard about the waitress who had lifted her brother's spirits. "You're the reason I still see him smile," Emily said, her voice weak but warm. As the three of them sat together, Sarah felt a sense of belonging she hadn't felt in years. Months later, Keanu's gesture had ripple effects. Sarah found a new job and even started a small community fund to help others in need. Years later, Sarah still keeps a framed note from Keanu on her wall. It reads, "Never lose your kindness. The world needs it more than ever. Keanu." What do you think of Sarah's story? Would you have accepted Keanu's help? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that remind us of the power of kindness.